Hey, what's up you guys? My name is Words of Wisdom, aka Words of Wisdom, and welcome to, I think I should call it a little live update. So as you can see here, you probably have no idea what you're looking at. This is the website of my current university. And as you can see, cijfer, which means grade, it's in Dutch, of course, because I'm Dutch. And as you can see, my grades have been pretty good. And basically what I did yesterday, I'm recording this on March the 28th. And on the 27th, I've got my Bsa. So you're probably wondering, what the fuck is a Bsa? So my university basically has this thing in your first year, you have to work really hard. They're gonna determine whether or not you're suited for this study. So the subjects are quite hard. There's a lot of stuff you have to do, and the 2 years after that, before I do my master, the 2 other years of my bachelor, they will be a little bit easier because they've already determined, yes, this is actually the study for you. This year is basically to see who really wants this, who really can do it, and etc. etc. So my Bsa, basically, you have 10 subjects. Every subject you can get 6 EC, which are basically points. And if you have 60 points, then you have your, it's called propenduizen, which means that you've completed your first year. For some reason, that's really special. I'm still figuring out why it's that special. And with 42 points, so that means if you fail 3 subjects, you can still stay on the school and they are not allowed to kick you for 10 years. And that's basically what I got yesterday. I've completed 7 out of 10 subjects and I have 3 to go now. I haven't failed a single fucking one. And my grades have been amazing. I even got selected for something that's called an honors program, which means I have a 7.5 plus on average for every grade, which is fucking amazing. It's a 7.5 out of 10. My grades used to be shit. I always used to get like 5.5 out of 10 or 6 out of 10, which is the absolute minimum to have a good grade. And now, as you can see, I have an 8, a 6.5, a 7.55, a 7.5, an 8. And then over here, we have statistics. I had an 8.5 out of 10 for that shit. And then I have behavior and communication organization. I'm sorry, I'm just translating to English. And that's gonna be a 7.5 as well. So let me just quickly run through my subjects because that's just fun to me or something. So the first subject, I had this in December. It was in my first period. It was basically this is how do I say this? The core themes of leading and organization science. I think that's kind of, yeah, I think that's a decent translation. Oh, hold on, I'm taking a sip of coffee. So that subject was basically, how do I explain this? It was quite, I don't know, there was a lot of information to it. It didn't really feel like it was specific. It really felt like an introduction to my university. And it was basically about decentralization, delegation, the history of states, why states exist, conflicts between states. It was basically, it just, I don't know, it wasn't specific at all. It was basically, it felt like an introduction, and I sucked at it. I had a 4.5 out of 10 for my first exam, and I was like, I'm gonna quit my study again. It's gonna be my university of 2016 all over again. Fuck my fucking life. And then I had a retry, of course, and I had an 8. So I did it really well. Then we have a bachelor work group, which is basically writing papers about scientific problems and shit. Usually there's a problem and you have to solve it in a creative way, and you have to use a lot of scientific literature to solve it with. I had a 6.5 out of 10 for that. It was only one exam, I think. It was only one paper, and I was starting, so I wasn't really good at it. But I mean, a 6.5 out of 10, who's complaining? Okay, and then we had governance, politics, and society, which was fucking hard. Okay, so governance, politics, and society, it kind of says what it is. It's about governance, so, and politics and society, basically how those 3 things work with each other. It was a lot of politics. I'm gonna be honest. It was a lot of politics, which I didn't really care about. I still don't care about politics, but I've heard that there's gonna be more subjects that are like that. The test was fucking difficult, the first one. I failed this one as well. I had a 4.2 out of 10, I think, for the first one, 18% passed, and then at the retry I had a 7.5, but I learned my fucking ass off. I learned for 7 days straight, every day, all day. Barely went outside, but it was worth it. I got a 7.5 out of 10. For the retry, 22% passed, so if the first time 80% passes and the second time 22% passes, then whose fault is it, bro? It's not our fault. It was really... The first time I studied as well. I studied for... I felt like I did study a lot. But the way they made those tests, it was just... It wasn't representative for what it basically said, what the book said. It was fucking stupid. And I wanted to email them, but I forgot. So now I'm just like, I passed the subject anyway. But the fucking test was stupid as hell. I mean, if 80% passes first time, 22% passes second time. We're all doing university, we're not stupid. If such a low percentage passes, then is it really the fault of the students? I highly doubt it. Okay, so then the next one, methodology. Methodology, yeah. It was actually amazing. For some reason, I mean, I don't want to do anything with research, but this was one of my favorite subjects. It was a lot about research, about doing research, why researchers can be valid, why they can be consistent, how do you do research, like sample surveys, interviews, semi-structured interviews, or just structured interviews, or just informal interviews, etc, etc. It was basically, how do you do research, how is it valid, and what do the results mean? And it was a lot of fun to me. It wasn't a hard subject because I just understood it. And I passed it with a 7.5. I think I could have done better, but at some of the... We had partial tests, and at some of the tests I kind of slacked, so I could have got a 9 out of 10 for that shit. But I would just like, man, I didn't study that much, so 7.5 out of 10. I mean, I'm still a fucking nerd for being 7.5 plus average, but... Okay, and then we have... this is basically the bachelor work group I explained earlier, but this was part 2, and we're doing research now. We're researching professional autonomy in education, and what effects that has on the quality of education. So this bachelor work group 2 was a lot of shit about that research. We had an observation. To basically write down. We had interviews to write down. We had a paper to write down as to why this is the problem we want to research. So basically this whole bachelor work group 2 was around our research and the things we did in this research and why this is a good thing to research. And this is what we're continuing in bachelor work group 3. And in bachelor work group 3 we're basically gonna write down what our conclusions are, and we're gonna do a presentation about the conclusions. Then this is the subject I had yesterday. Behavior and communication in organizations, which is basically about what are conflicts, how do you negotiate, what are teams, what are groups, what's the best way to lead a company, how can you solve problems efficiently, etc, etc. It's basically a lot about communication and how that helps to solve problems, how a company works in the best way, etc, etc. I thought it was quite interesting, and I passed it yesterday. I think I have like a 7.3 or 7.4 out of 10, but I heard from a lot of people that they failed, and I was like, bruh, what the fuck. But this was the same difficulty as this governance, politics and society test. It was really difficult, but I was used to it, and I studied really hard. I slept like 2 hours, but it was fucking worth it. If I didn't sleep those 2 hours and just went to bed early, then I definitely wouldn't have passed this. I definitely would not have. Then we have statistics. I think I already explained this. Statistics, well, it really speaks for itself. Statistics, hella easy. It's just a lot of numbers and calculating regression lines and shit. It was quite easy. I had 3 partial tests. I had a 9.4, 9.4, a 7, and then for the overall exam I had an 8.5. So that was fucking easy. So then I already explained this one. This is basically presenting a research, concluding it. And then I have no idea. These are the subjects I will have in April and May, which is basically decision making and I don't know. I think this is gonna be about decision making and what's the best way to do it or something. I have no idea. And then this is gonna be the most boring thing of all time. Fucking history of science. Why is this a subject on my fucking university? Not excited for this, but I mean, I've always been good at history, so I'm not really worried about these two subjects. I think I'm just gonna get my proper dice and then it's just easy peasy. But for now, I'm really happy that they at least can't kick me off my school anymore. If you watched my video where I went to talk about my life when I was 20 years old, it's almost a year ago actually. It's 8 months ago. I will definitely make another one this year when I turn 21, sorry. But the video won't be this long. Last video I explained my entire life. Now I will just talk about my entire year. I'm not gonna go fully detail into that. You will basically have to watch the video. But I've talked about how my university went to shit, how I didn't pass my exams before I went to university, so I basically wasted 2 years already. And I was really scared when I started this university, especially when I failed my first exam. Like I said, I had, for the core themes, governance and organization science, I basically had a 4.5 out of 10. And I was like, it's gonna happen again, I'm gonna fail another year, blah, blah, blah. It makes me so happy to see me doing so well, and I really feel like I can finish this and get a job that pays my bills. I'm just happy with how things are going, and I kind of just wanted to make a video saying that I basically did it. They can't kick me off my university anymore, and I feel like I'm gonna finish this without failing anymore, so I'm just very motivated. Anyway, summer's coming up soon. I got my BSA. Good vibes all fucking day, everywhere. That's basically what I want to say. My mood is through the roof. I'm satisfied as fuck. So, yeah. You know, think about it. This video is fucking stupid to make, but I'm still gonna post it because I have no dignity anyway. So yeah, congrats to me. I tried my best and it paid off. Hard work pays off, motherfuckers. Who would have known? Pretty much everyone. Anyway, if you like this video, definitely leave a like rating. If you liked it even more, then definitely hit that subscribe button. And I was gonna say I'll see you in the next episode, but I'll see you in the next random ass fucking video I make about my life. Which will probably be my birthday video, because I don't make a lot of these. Nah. Well, see you.